This is a fun one. This one's going to be an awesome one. Awesome one. KRS-One, if you are watching, love your music. Just, it's the type of music that, this is the type of music I listen to anyways, that summons that energy in you, that reminds you, funny enough, the song is called Remind Yourself, that reminds you to awaken that power within you. This is that type of song. So if I'm introducing this to you guys for the first time on my channel, shoot, well, you would love his other songs too. The music speaks of you. I feel like all things in existence essentially speak of things that are internally in you, but songs like this encapsulate that God energy within you, that source. Welcome back to another video, ladies and gentlemen. Remind yourself. Remember to be authentic. Remember to love yourself. Remember to take care of yourself. Subscribe if you enjoy all that. Like it if you enjoy. If not, that is totally okay too. Let's get into the video. I'm gonna get hype. I already know because I've listened to this so many times, but I wanted to bring it to my channel so we can listen to it. Now, for this song, I think I'm gonna pause it in between and just, like, you know, talk about the lyrics and then do a full breakdown at the end talking about the lyrics. But, you know, so I'll be pausing and stuff. So if y'all don't like that, I would just listen to the song yourself right now. But remember yourself. Let's go. Put yourself back together, man. Remind yourself.
Sit back, relax, and reacquaint yourself. Get back to that original, primitive, savage, naked self. Brace yourself, recreate yourself, make yourself. For too long, you've been taught to hate yourself. Man, don't forsake yourself.
Bro, y'all hear this? 30 seconds in, man. For long, you've been taught to hate yourself. I know this, like, honestly, I feel like music is universal. But you know who he's speaking to here. If you feel it, you feel it. You know you know.
Reawake yourself, take yourself much higher. History's not our story, man, the devil is a liar. Listen to nothing the outside world says about you. The world is made to reroute you, distract you, and then doubt you.
Man, KRS has really good wordplay, but with this song, he's just being straightforward at certain points, and I love it, man. Reroute you and
most these rappers about the world, KRS is about you. So remember when I taught you about how to in and the out to. Go inside your inner city, quickly going in you. Have an interview with that energy that's within you. Ask yourself, why you? Why now? Why he? Then it becomes quite clear you are divine. You should not fear bills. You should not fear thrills. You should not stare. Focus your attention on God, which is right here.
Woo! And KRS is before my time, I'm pretty sure, because like I'm young, but music always has to find a way to find me. Being a dancer and stuff, but street lights.
Reconnect.
Reconnect.
Listen, no one's ever gonna tell you that you are divine, cause they ain't reached that mind, and all this time they still are blind. They tell you get in line, follow them and look for signs. Man, that's baby milk. Here's the raw meat, yo, it's cooking time.
That's so fire. Man, here's that raw meat, man. It's cooking time. Like, oh, dude. I love it because I want to get into how I'm breaking it down and how I'm thinking about it after. Like, here's that raw meat, yo, it's cooking time.
Line, follow them and look for signs. Man, that's baby milk. Here's the raw meat, yo, it's cooking time. It's the way in which you look at brain and look at mind. You thinking they the same, but if you look again, you'll find the whole design of nature's really from a gifted mind, a divine mind, outside what we call space and time. This divine mind is what creates brains, hearts, and livers. This divine mind produces butterflies from caterpillars and everything that quivers. Brains don't make brains, the process of birth does. I'm telling you, life is a game with its own mind, its own name, and its own aim. It's simple and plain. Divine mind produces all brains. You are a divine mind first, which then produces your brain. Divine intelligence or God, that's from which you came. Remember yourself. Put yourself back together. Remind yourself.
Christ is an African word, K-R-S-T. When the Greeks later on took that up and the Romans they call Christus, it is first appears in African Christ. The concept of the Christ, the eight
Christ
forms,
consciousness.
the 7 stages are forms of man, which then became
7 stages, bro. 7 chakras in the body. 7 stages. 7 love.
becomes a supreme divine form, the Christ. Hence you have Christianity before Christ. The idea, the concepts, even the words, even the images, the virgin birth. The 3 kings, those are Egyptian ideas. Those were the 3 great stars in the firmament, the 3 kings, which then became the 3 powers on earth that came to worship the divine form. It's all there. It's on the temples of Luxor before the birth of Jesus.
So here we go. We got this. I love this. All right, here we go. So I'm glad that someone threw the lyrics here, 2 contributors. Let's go. I love this. So remember yourself, put yourself back together, because essentially that's what we're doing here on earth, man. We're putting ourselves back together. Like, you're putting your consciousness back together. You came here for a reason. You incarnated on earth for a reason. You brought yourself here. So put yourself back together. Remind yourself. And this is a big thing too, of remember yourself and remind yourself. It's been a big point in my life. I actually had some wild dreams and meditations recently where stuff was literally telling me, remember who you are, remember who you are. And it's like, we're not this, we're not the body. Like, I see too many of my people in like my life and also past lives just getting too caught up in the everyday minutia of like bills and things like that, and getting too triggered by it. And that's why he even says in the song, bills, you should not fear. Like, nothing on the external reality should control you, and especially if you believe in God, because essentially all of this is happening for a reason. So right here, sit back, relax, and reacquaint yourself. Get back to that original, primitive, savage, naked self. So essentially, like, to me, at least I'm gonna say how the lyrics speak to me. What this is essentially everything that's on the external of you was a thought form. Like, everything came from thought. So getting back to that original, primitive, savage, naked self is more speaking of the origin, original divine energy, that origin energy. Get back to that origin, that savage, naked self, where it was like, it's you, not essentially back to where you're like that literally savage, and but that energy that makes you that I feel unbreakable, powerful. I'm like God, like real God energy. So get back to that original, reacquaint yourself, then brace yourself, recreate yourself, make yourself. For too long you've been taught to hate yourself. Man, don't forsake yourself. So the thing is that, when somebody says to forsake God or forsake God, well, forsaking God is literally forsaking yourself if you are made in the image of God. So it's very funny, like when you go to external, or you're going to other people or this, and it's not so deep, but sometimes it is that deep for people. Sometimes people will share their stories online or talk about their life where when they were given so much to a person, maybe to also, if you think about relationships, where it just feels like I've done everything for this person. I've tried, they just don't give me back. Like, that's like what I mean by, for some people who have really been through those relationships I've had moments like that myself, but that's the energy I could think of. Or maybe even people trying to prove stuff to parents. That's like forsaking yourself. You're forsaking yourself because you have to live for yourself. You know, all of this stuff turns to dust. Even you, your parents, they turn to dust. So you have to live your life for you. And you know, and it's no hard feelings, and it's like you don't got to be an ass and completely turn on them. But for some people, they might have to in their life, you know. And it's just everything. It could be friends, everything, or even peers, a boss at work. Don't forsake yourself, man. Do not react to this 3D reality or the things on the external of you. You know, for too long you've been taught to hate yourself, and this is true for a lot of people. I feel like he's speaking to a deeper group of people in the song, if you know what I mean. But it's universal too, you know, and maybe that too. It's meant to be universal, but from what I know of, from what I've heard and know of KRS-One and who the music is created for, it's like you already know Streetlight, like you already know the thing about the streetlights. If you know, if you know, you know. But brace yourself, recreate yourself, make yourself. Yeah, like brace yourself because it's going to be a journey when you're on the journey of self-discovery and knowing yourself. I know I have. I've had to brace myself. The recreate yourself, make yourself. That is like, yeah, you know, for long you've been taught to hate yourself. So give yourself that love. Let that form, let that version of yourself go that you know played little, stayed in the box, didn't spread it, like just emit the light from themselves that they're supposed to recreate. So that's the recreating part, and make yourself because it's you. And reawake yourself, take yourself much higher. History is not our story, man. The devil is a liar. So that is a big thing too. The people that play on this other team, his story. This is actually, look at it, his story, his, and then story, right there. That's why the word sounds like that. His story, just like tell lie vision tells lies to your vision, the television. His story is not our story. Get it? His story is not our story. So that's just the truth. Is whoever is taking and erasing. I know for if you come speak on behalf of African Americans for a second, and you know, indigenous. I'm Native American indigenous, so my lineage begins here. My people were already here, right? But still, a lot of our culture and history is hidden and destroyed and hidden from us. So it's like his story is not our story. That's not our story. It's literally his story. But you know, I skipped over reawake yourself, take yourself much higher, just to, you know, because it's just self-explanatory. Take yourself much higher. Elevate this system. Elevate it, man. Listen to nothing the outside world says about you. The world is made to reroute you, distract you, and then doubt you. Straightforward. Listen to nothing the outside world says about you. The world is made to reroute you, distract you, and then doubt you. And this is very true. We come to play this game to learn this, though. When you wake up to this truth, you will not go back. One, you'll never be able to go back because now you have a new level of awareness. But it's just how this game has been engineered, man. You got to elevate this system. You got to feel higher about yourself, like a higher power, and you will feel it work through you. I'm telling you, you will feel different if you do this. It's literally a DNA change. But most of these rappers about the world, KRS is about you. Yeah, KRS's name stands for Knowledge Reigns Supreme, I think. But yeah, and most of these rappers are about the world. That's just obviously a shout out the industry. You see it. A lot of these rappers are engineered, and a lot of rap is engineered if you look at it and what it's meant to do to people. So that's why I always stay on music like this if I'm going to listen to music, because I need to keep my vibration high. It is in, oh my gosh, I almost said it's impervious, but I mean that my energy is impervious, but it's absolutely just essential to my journey that I listen to music that just raises my frequency. And even though when you listen to certain songs, like, you have control of it. But I remember B.O.B. speaking on a live about spiritual infiltration. And it's very crazy that he said this, because I woke up to catch his live when he started talking about it. And it's like, spiritual infiltration is such a very real thing. It's like, I'm not really affected by things I see, like MTV spreading and all these just family shows on TV that like are fights, like, you know, like what is it, the Kardashians and things like that. Not to throw any shade, but it's just like, that stuff is to distract people. And it's like, for me, like I can separate it from entertainment, and maybe some people can. I've seen some people say that they just watch it for entertainment, but no, it actually influences them because everything is energy. But when you think about spiritual infiltration, when you're at this level of recreating yourself, you know, you want to make sure you're really paying attention to what you watch. And when you get to a certain level, things don't really affect your energy field. You'll be fine, like your auric field. But at the same time, you don't really want to watch those things. It's the same for me. Like really harsh rap has never ever really influenced me and never really gotten into my mind to make me go do crazy things. But I've seen people where they let it actually influence their mood. And there's certain people that really shouldn't be listening to it. And that's how it's been engineered to be like addicting with certain frequencies that are out there. But I say all this to say that I do think certain energies and everything are tuned by you, but at the same time, with spiritual infiltration, it's like this is a very real thing where you should not listen to certain music if you're someone who doesn't have a strong enough mind and not let it influence your thoughts and frequencies. For me, I'm like that, but I'm not taking any chances. I'm not listening to music that doesn't make me feel good about myself. So KRS is about you. So remember what I taught you about the in and the outdo. Go inside your inner city, quickly go in you, have an interview with the energy that's within you. And that's God. G-O-D, it's right here. You know, ask yourself why you, why now, why here, because you're having the interview. Then it becomes quite clear you are divine. You should not fear bills. You should not fear thrills. You should not stare. Focus your attention on G-O-D. It's right here. That's self-explanatory, man. It's right here. Go within that inner city. Quickly go within you. Have an interview with the energy that's within you. I love this song because, I mean, what else can you really say about this song? It's just the most straightforward song. Like, yeah. Remind yourself, put yourself back together, reconnect. Yeah. Yeah. I'm like, yeah. That's not the flow. It's just, yeah. Listen. No one's ever gonna tell you that you are divine because they ain't reached that line they ain't reached that mind. Oh, wow. I thought it was they ain't reached that line. Wow. Because, you know, like walking up and crossing the line. So that's what I heard it as. But yeah, then the next part is they tell you get in line. But yeah, no one is ever going to tell you that you are divine because they ain't reached that mind. And all this time, they still are blind. They tell you get in line, follow them, and look for signs. Man, that's baby milk. Here's the raw meat. Yo, it's cooking time. So what I love is when someone gives you the real, like I'm going to give you the raw real. That's what the raw meat, or like when someone says, I'm going to give you the meat of the idea of what's going on. They're just going to give you that important part. Here's the meat and potatoes are what we're about to talk about. That's the reference I think of. And, but yeah, no one's ever going to tell you that you are divine because they ain't reached that mind. And all this time they're still blind. For me, I had a crazy experience where everything started, like it was around 18. I mean, I've been questioning the reason I exist since I've been 14. I asked my stepdad, like, why do we exist and all that? And he gave me his answer. But when I think about now, and I think about back when I was 18, when my awakening really kicked off and hit crazy, it literally, my mind felt different. I felt like, and still even leading up to these questions and everything I've had, I've always felt like an alien, an outsider, and just like this world doesn't make sense. And I knew those, I know now and kind of knew back then that those were going to be the stepping stones to something awakening. At least something higher in me knew that. But me, consciously, I'm over here like, whoa, so much is going on. And man, I remember like my mind, I started seeing deja vu, having visions, all of this crazy stuff started going when I started reawakening. And the thing is with that is because they ain't reached that mind and all this time they're still are blind. Seriously, I said this about psychology. I read this in a book about psychology. And then I heard somebody also say it on a podcast, but where literally for your parents and sometimes your step parents and whatever, and sometimes your friends out there, they will meet you. And Lauryn Hill actually has a bar about this, or no, she was on stage talking about this, where she is inventing herself every single moment. Like, you thought you knew me 10 seconds ago, I'm a new person now. Like that. Like, I've realized that with this journey, like when people have not reached that mindset, they're still dealing with you when they last met you or they last left off. Like, it's crazy. Like, even when I had this conversation with my stepdad, like it was like a week ago, maybe at this point, 2 weeks ago. It was really intense talk that needed to be had, and my mom was really glad that the talk happened. But I told her it felt like, yeah, certain things changed because maybe he knows now I'm working hard. But literally, for the past almost 2 to 3 years, he didn't know all the money I made and anything I was doing. Said I didn't tell him anything and things like that. And that just goes to show you a good thing about moving in silence, but also that people will deal with you in the certain mindset that they left off with you at. Like, I've even had friends this past year where I don't feel bad for things like this, but there was a close family friend that even like I kept telling myself years before that I should not move in with him because, and it's funny how my earlier self knew, and that's what I'm just saying, it's a divine mind. Like, your mind has always got you. Like, you got to listen to your intuition when it tells you, because your intuition in your inner city is God. Literally, I was like, yo, I probably shouldn't move in with them because I probably appear a certain way in their head, like they're still dealing with me where I was at this level. But now I'm here and they don't even know that. I went through all these different seasons and changes, and I'm reaching my divine mind that when you come around people, they're still probably dealing with you when you were 16, 14. They're still thinking you're there. They still see you as a kid. I know for a lot of mothers out there, this is the same. You're always going to look at, like, doesn't matter how old your child gets. It's like a belief in a very, a heartfelt connection between a mother and her kid, is they're always going to see you as their kid, things like that. So, but I also say that with this whole they tell you get in line, follow them, and look for signs. That's exactly like how my stepdad's mindset is. He even has this belief too, where it's like when you hit a certain age, you can't change, your mind can't alter and all that, and that's just not true at all. You can definitely shift your mindset. You can always shift your mindset. It's never too late. I just think certain people didn't come to earth to do that, and certain people here might be like Dolores Canyon said, temporary consciousness. I always believe this, that not everyone is real. Some people are really non-player characters, but that doesn't mean any disrespect or to disrespect them. That means to treat them as so. Is that, look, they're here having an experience too. It's just not in the way you are. And so, when people are telling you follow them and get in line, your reality doesn't work like that. I know for me, anytime I tried, and I've never really tried to be a follower, but what I'm going to talk about follow them, quote unquote, is I tried right out of high school to get a job and do this and do certain things, and it didn't line up for me. When I started having jobs being offered to me that were like 100,000K, like 100K a year, and six-figure job like that, and in cool positions like brand ambassador, when those opportunities started coming to me, were when I stayed on my path of who I was. So it's you, man. Stay the course. Stay your course. Don't stay in line, follow them and look for signs, because they don't even know what to look for. Man, that's baby milk. See, exactly. They'll tell you get in line, follow them, and look for signs. That's baby milk. Here's the raw meat. It's cooking time. It seriously is. Because you gotta stay the course for your journey. Like, you gotta stay the course because you know your path. Like, And I'm sorry, I'm talking very passionately because this has been my life. Like, I live this every day. Like, you're like, to know the Holy Ghost, to know the energy, it's within your heart. For sure, 100%, it's in your heart. It's not external. It's not some sky daddy in the sky. It's your heart. The kingdom of heaven is in your heart. That's why he said, have it. Oh, wow. I said the kingdom of heaven, and he said, have an interview in that inner city that, that's within you. But it's the way in which you look at brain and look at mind. You're thinking they're the same, but if you look again, you'll find the whole design of nature is really from a gifted mind, a divine mind outside what we call space and time. So right there, it's the way you look at brain and look at mind. The reason he separates them is because, like the 7 hermetic principles, is your mind. The mind is all, the universe is mental. You're thinking your mind is your brain, but it's not. Your brain has a conscious working. It houses the consciousness that you are. But that consciousness goes beyond. You see it when you go to sleep, when you go into the astral plane, and when you feel your soul come out of your body, or when people have those experiences where it feels like their soul's been pulled out of your body. There you go. So the mind is housed in the brain. The way you look at brain and look at mind. The brain is biological. It's rooted to this reality. When the brain dissolves, there's still an awareness that's there. You're thinking they're the same, but if you look again, you'll find the whole design of nature is really from a gifted mind, a divine mind outside what we call space and time. So that mind exists. This is the byproduct of what that mind wanted to dream up. We are the dream now. And this divine mind is what creates brains, hearts, and livers. This divine mind produces butterflies and caterpillars and everything that quitters. Brains don't make brains. The process of birth does. I'm telling you, life is a game. Exactly. So when you're thinking you're your brain or your mind, like, oh, your mind is your brain. When somebody says mind, some people don't make that distinction yet. Oh, like what's going on in your brain? Well, what do you mean? Like, what's going on in my brain? I don't know. It feels pretty healthy. And then, like, oh no, I mean like your mind. What's going on with your mentality? Your mentality and all that is housed in your brain. That's why legit a brain doesn't create another brain. You get it? It's like that's just like if that's what it was, then that would mean there's some over hive lord universal brain that makes brains. If that makes sense, but no, it's a spirit. It's your body is where the soul is encapsulated in. It's in here. So yeah, and everything that quivers, I like that, everything that quivers. But butterflies and caterpillars, you can look at all the beautiful things, and that right there, a divine mind produces butterflies from caterpillars. I love that because it's like you see the caterpillar takes on one form and it's this metamorphosis. And it's also, I actually have a video on YouTube called Metamorphosis. I don't know if I privated it, but essentially it's the same idea. You see the caterpillar in one form and then it goes up and then it bursts into this beautiful thing when it has to let go of that old form. So that was cool putting that in the song right there, because this whole song is basically about transformation. And I'm telling you, life is a game. I love that an artist like KRS-One is saying this, because as being a gamer from day one, I already know this. I've been saying this, like life is a game. For sure, like life's a game. With its own mind, its own name, and its own aim. And it's simple and plain. Divine mind produces all brains. You are divine mind first, which then produces your brain. Divine intelligence or God, that's from whence you came. When the beat comes in and that, you just feel that. But even when you watch the video, like of him like talking about releasing streetlights, and you look at the thing, even how the editor did the stage and how he's moving, and it's like they had him emanating from his body with the edits. They're just showing you what it is. So I love that. You are a divine mind first, and then so cause and effect. Then it produces your brain. Divine intelligence, which made all this, or God, because it's just different names for the same thing. That's from whence you came. So put yourself back together. Let's go. Whew, I'm loving this shit. I love this shit. This is why I do this. I feel like that's like definitely why I came here. Why I'm doing this is shit like that. Came back, like, that's it. I'm not even going to say anymore. The word Christ is an African word. KRST, and that's crazy. Christ. Wow, KRS-One. Think about how he took on that name. That's sick. And the Greeks later took that up. Romans, they called it Christus. It first appears in African KRST, the concept of Christ, the eighth form, the seven stages or forms of man, that which became the supreme divine form, Christ. Then you have Christianity before Christ, the idea, the concepts, even the words, even the images, the virgin birth, three kings, those are Egyptian ideas. Those were the great stars on the pyramid. And it's crazy that they show you that the pyramids around the world line up with constellations in the sky. Also, I heard someone once say that the pyramids are set up like that to literally show you, it's a map of your own consciousness and the constellations and how astrology and all of it ties together. And just, yeah. And it's honestly funny, something I just thought about is there's 12 zodiacs, but there's actually 13, because when you become all the zodiacs, you become the 13th, which is the Christos, which is just like the 7 level, the 8th form, and then like the eight paths that you see in like, it's like a Eastern philosophy, the 8 Taoism, but the eightfold path. So the 8 forms, 7 stages of man, the 7 chakras in the body. And like, you think about that too, the virgin birth, and the 3 kings, the 13, 1 and 3. So those are Egyptian ideas. Those were the great stars on the pyramid, all that. Love it. They then became the 3 powers on earth that came to worship the divine form. It's all there, on the temples of Lao Tzu. Oh wow, temples of Lao Tzu. Hold on. Oh wow. Even said it. Wow. Then I let go of what I am. I become what I am. I'm assuming Wow, the temples of Lao Tzu. I didn't even hear her say that. I'm pretty sure what. Taoism. Oh my gosh, yeah. Holy shit. You guys, literally as I was saying it, Lao Tzu, on the temples of Lao Tzu. Look at this. What was he known for? Taoism. Hold on. Look at this. I was just saying it. Look at the 8 paths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, the 8 path. I need to 8 trigram. There it is. Yeah, Naruto, where do you think like all this stuff is connected? There we go though. There we go right there. Heaven, wind, water, mountain, earth, thunder, fire, valley, elbow strike. That's why all that Tai Chi and moving and the movement and stuff. But yeah. I mean, all these essentially talk about, you know, the same thing, but that's what I'm telling y'all, bro. It's in everything. It's literally, it's in everything. Like, bro, it's on the temples of Lao Tzu before the birth of Jesus. Like, there you go. There you go. It's all here. It's all here. You know, you're divine, man. Y'all are divine. I was looking at my phone because I think it's getting time for me to go, but you're all divine, dude. We're all divine. Like, that's what it is. We're that's it. Remind yourself and embody it. Like, embody it. It doesn't to embody this or to feel godlike, to feel like a demigod, whatever you want to use to get back home, because we're all on our own journey. It's not forsaking God. It's not about fear God. It's you know what's very funny about when you awaken, people actually fear God. Funny enough, you know, it's funny enough. They say the craziest things about you, that you're the devil, you're this, you're that. That's literally what it means, fear God. But to me, at least. But what's funny about all this is it's genuinely like, it's energy. Everything is energy. Everything is energy. Everything is legit energy. That's it. Everything is energy. Everything is energy. Everything is literally energy, and that's what I'm saying is when you feel it, like your emotions are the best way to gauge where you're going and where you're at, because when you feel something and it naturally comes from within, like, you know, you're about to get a gift for Christmas or all of that stuff can be felt now. Like, that's emotion based on external things. But imagine what happens when you go within and really feel the peace and tranquility and just like this being this absolute force in nature that really remembers who you are. It's ancient knowledge. Like, this is ancient knowledge. It's just ancient. That's just what it is. It's ancient knowledge. Like, that's all I can say. It's ancient. It's deep within you. It needs to be unlocked, and that's just how this goes. It gets unlocked. That's what it is. That's what it is. Yeah, that's what it is. That's enlightenment, folks. And I'm actually going to say this in a new video that I shoot today. I'm about to go on a walk and then do the video, but it's enlightenment. Enlightenment. In lighter being, lighter state of being, mentality, or a lighter mentality. You could say that too, but it's all together. All right, much love in Moonlight. I'm out of here.